some of the game land. Hey, it's September. Hey guys. Hey, out here, North Carolina game lands. Hey guys, we're out here on the river this afternoon. Hey, sitting here in the truck waiting for the rain to stop. I just recorded all that and it wasn't recording. Take two. Hey guys, Robert here, NC Outdoors to Go. We're cleaning up all the duck hunting gear. It's the end of the season. It's cold and rainy outside, so we're going through all the stuff, getting it wiped down, getting it put up. And I thought I'd take this time to show you our setup on the kayaks. We have two H12s. One has the Northern Flight Cabela's / Bass Pro Redhead Blonde. The other has the YakGear blind that you can get off of Amazon. I'll put the link to both of those down below. The Cabela's Northern Flight blind has been hard to get for the past year, 2 years. So if you run across one, you're pretty lucky. They stay sold out online. Very rarely see them in the stores. So for our second kayak, we just ordered the YakGear, and it's just to try them out and compare the two. There's definitely pros and cons to each of them, and we're going to go through a little bit of that real quick just to try to help you understand. We do have a third kayak that's a 10-footer that we also have a blind on, and I'll show you that as well. We'll just take you through it. Hey guys, this is the Cabela's Northern Flight Redhead. It used to be called the Redhead Blonde. Now it's called the Northern Flight Blonde from Cabela's. This is the one that's harder to get. A lot of people like this because to me it's probably a better setup according to how you're going to use it. We'll go over the other blonde in just a minute. There's some things that I like about it. I use the other one, but I like this one better. It's a better quality blonde in my opinion. But there are some reasons that I do like the YakGear blonde. But let's go through this. So on this one, the main thing with this is these doors are a lot more sturdy, okay, than the YakGear. There's a frame that goes inside that you put inside there, and you strap around your kayak. So Mason uses this one. My older son, he uses this blind, and he uses it without his seat in his H12. He just sits right here, and then what he does is he leaves the flaps open to paddle, but also takes the blind and we roll it inside the boat and then put the flaps out so the blind's not dragging in the water. Because on both of these blinds, if you put them out over the edge of the kayak, it's going to drag in the water. It's going to slow you down. It's going to get your blind wet, your grass wet, and we just found that it's a lot easier to roll these up and get them out of the water on the way to and from wherever we're hunting. So on this one, when we're going to the blind, we actually have this one rolled up. So you can roll this one up. There are straps that go around, and it locks down like that. There's another one on this side that does the same thing. So when we're going to the blind, that's how we have it. On the YakGear blind, I don't believe there's any straps like that holds it down. So I do like that. And then when you get there, obviously you're going to roll it out. Be ready to go. One thing that I will go over on the YakGear blind when we do that is there's a door here with Velcro that allows you to get to your stuff once you get set up. And I'll go over that when I do that. Honestly, I don't use the door that much because I don't want to fix the Velcro back. Normally, I just pull this up, get whatever I need, and then I put it back down. The back of this blind is set up the same way. You can roll that up. There's straps that go in that hold this up as a roll. And then when you're going to your blind, it's like that. There's also straps that strap in there to hold that. But the main thing on this is when you get to where you're going, you get everything set up, and you have these doors that are a lot better. You have handles on the inside of them. They're not floppy like the YakGear doors. So if you're truly wanting a layout blind that you're going to use as a layout blind, a lot of times we will use these if we have to. Honestly, I like a swamp seat better if I can find cover. I shoot better that way than laying out. But if you're somewhere that does not have a lot of cover and you're in a flat swamp and you have to use a layout blind, I would definitely recommend this Cabela's Northern Flight / Bass Pro Redhead blind, because it is more of a true layout blind with the doors. So on these, you can see that there is no crossover in here. These doors match up. There are plenty of straps for your grass. Where on the YakGear blind, I'll show you, there's none. On a couple of sections, there's no straps for your grass. And then when you're ready to shoot, this one is very simple. It comes out, you're ready to shoot. The frame makes it to where these doors hold themselves up. And to me, it's just a much better layout blind if you're truly layout hunting. A lot of times, like I said, we'll go in and we'll set in the cattails, or we'll set on the edge where we're already in cover. We don't have to lay out. And then the other one will work as a layout blind, but you will see that the doors are much more floppy on that. So that's basically the rundown. The other part of it, too, with the YakGear blind, you can make it where it does have a door down here that you can pull up. I usually unclip it and my dog sits there, and I still have the back of this covered. There is no door, so if you were going to run a dog out of it, that's something that you would have to figure out. You maybe have to put your dog on a stand somewhere beside your blind, or if you're in the water, you may be able to push that down. I just never use that one. The dog's always in mind with the YakGear blind. Makes it a little bit easier with the dog. And like I said, I'll show you in a minute. I run the HTR Innovations Layout Lounge is what I run in mine, because with this one there's a seat, or not a seat, but there's a layout pad already in this blind. With the YakGear blind there's not. So I run that HTR Innovations Layout Lounge. So if you like that and you like the comfort of it, that's something that you would have to figure out with this. I guess you could probably take this off, and the Layout Lounge would probably fit in here as well. I haven't tried that part of it, but that's the basic differences of it. I'll show you the YakGear blind next. All right, this is the blind that I use the most this year. A few reasons why I use this instead of the other one. I run the HTR Innovations Layout Lounge in my boat. So on the way out, paddling out, what I do is I just put the flaps on top of that, because these are very pliable. They're not sturdy. They don't have a frame. There's no frame to this blind. So I put it like that. Put it down in there. I sit right here, and I paddle. I sit on top of the blind. I roll this inside. Most of the time I have this even inside. And then usually I'll have my dog Mikey in the back. So even the back of it on the way out, stuff up under here. This keeps the whole blind out of the water when I'm paddling. The grass doesn't get wet because I stuff everything inside. And this is how I paddle to wherever we're going. So normally wherever we're going, wherever most people go, it's going to be shallow enough you can step out, throw your decoys out. Most people, when you get there, are going to get out of the kayak, fix everything, fix your setup like you want it, put your decoys out, put your mojo out, and then get back into the blind. So once I get everything set out, I go back, fix the blind back like I want it, put everything back, put the front back, put my bags and everything that I need to hide back in here, and then I'll fix my flaps. You have to be aware that these are not sturdy. There's no frame. So this is the biggest probably downfall of this blind, is when you're coming up out of here, you have got to really get these things up out of the way. It hasn't been a problem once I got used to it. However, that is the one thing I don't like, is there's no rigidness to these doors. And actually you can see how far the doors overlap each other. To me, they could be a little bit more narrow, would work better. Some things that I do like about this blind is you can, once you get set up, you can go in here and you can open this flap up and you can get to whatever you need right here. The other good thing is, if you're hunting with a dog, the back flap does the same thing. You can pop that up. I even have a frame that will hold that up so he can be covered. I don't have that on there now. So the flaps are good. Honestly though, I don't really like undoing the Velcro part of it. So I don't know if you can show this on the camera, but what I usually do if I have to get something out of here, usually I don't even use this flap. I just do that. I get out what I need and then I put that back. Okay. The only other thing that I noticed too that I didn't like about this is there's no straps here for your grass. There is a strap that goes around the outside. So that's the YakGear blind. Definitely, like I said, some pros and cons to how you use it. I do like that I can just throw those in there. I roll the whole thing in. There's no frame to it. You don't have to worry about it. It is a little bit lighter than the Cabela's redhead blind. So that's another plus. But that's in general. Leave comments down below if you have questions. I'll try to answer any of them that you have. Or comments, questions, comments. Leave them below. Alright. Like I was saying, this is the Journey 10 SS. Got it off Facebook Marketplace for $100. We also bought a tangle-free field blind, layout blind off of Facebook Marketplace. I think it was 50 or 60 bucks. And then we converted it. So what we did was we cut out the bottom of it and then we disassembled it from the frame. I'll show you the frame in just a second. Right around, I don't know if you can get this shot in here of the hinge. So basically we got some bimini hinges for bimini tops off of Amazon. We screwed that right down to the kayak and then we spaced them out like they were off of the frame for the field blind, and we just attached these doors right to the kayak. So this is, the doors are attached to the kayak. When you paddle this one out, you do have to leave the door shut, but that's very easy to do. You get in, shut the doors, and Ryder also pulls this up into the kayak so it's out of the water, and then for the back of it, because as you guys know, these layout blinds for the field, this is the end of the actual blind is right here. Okay, so this is the end of the blind, and what we did was took a piece of netting. All this is on just some, it's almost like that black plastic fencing, and we attached it with zip ties to the last tie down strap for your grass, and we cut it out. You can see that that's the underside of it. We cut it out in the triangle that we needed, so we could cover up the back end of this. So when you're out there, you know, you really can't tell the difference. I think we did take a little bit of spray paint, and we covered up some of the lettering and stuff that was on the back, just to have it blend in more. But now you're talking about the setup here off of Facebook Marketplace. Kayak and a paddle for $100. And like I said, we paid 50 or 60 for this blind that somebody wasn't using, and we cut it up. I think the hinges, the bimini hinges off of Amazon, I think they're like $10. They're not very much. You guys can search that up, and I'll put a link to those down below as well. That way, if you want to go this route, you can. But this is kind of the best of both worlds. You have the doors that are connected, so when you're ready to shoot, boom, they fly open, you're good to go. And then you also have not as much weight with that whole frame. And then the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the frame that this blind came off of, and then that'll wrap it up. Alright guys, so this is the frame that tangle-free blind came off of. And as you can see, these are the hinges that I bought the bimini hinges to replace and just attach them right to the Kayak. So you can get your measurements here on where they need to go. And then you just attach those hinges to the Kayak. And then, because I have a hard time throwing anything away, I haven't thrown the frame away yet. It's just been sitting in the back of my garage. So that's basically a cheap way to make a Kayak blind if you can find a layout blind that somebody's not using. You know, it doesn't matter if the bottom of the layout blind is worn out. Actually, when we bought this one, it was brand new. The guy had won it at a DU event, and it still had the tags on it. We cut the bottom out of it, attached it to the Kayak. Honestly, it looks as good or better than the redhead blind or the YakGear blind. When you're in the water, it looks the same or better as either one of those blinds. So that's 3 different options that you can do. You can go Facebook Marketplace, kind of cut up an old layout blind, attach the grass to it. Also, all the grass that's on here is Rafi grass. I got that from Jay Stearns. I'll also put that link down there. Guys, if you're gonna buy grass, you're gonna duck hunt, Jay Stearns is the way to go for the grass, because anywhere else you're gonna get a small little packet for like 30 or 40 bucks. You know, and it's not that much grass. Go ahead and look up Jay Stearns, order the colors that you want, order it in bulk. It's way cheaper. Set what you don't use to the side, because you're going to use it for something else on down the road, and you're going to spend the same money, but you'll get 3 times as much grass from those guys. So just a tip there. Hey, look, like the video, comment below if you have more questions about either of those setups, or about how we chop this field layout blind up, about how we made it into the Kayak blind. Leave a comment below, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're going to have some fishing content coming up. That's what we're doing, getting all this duck hunting stuff off the kayaks, so we can get on some pre-spawn bass. So thanks guys, take it easy, appreciate the support.